If you give it to the mind, it will always find reasons to keep putting it off. Let's not do it now. We'll do it tomorrow. It's always, there's some little underlying fear factor when treading new waters. So the mind will, just delay. Keep putting it off. Oh, not today. Oh, I'm too tired now. I guess we can wait till tomorrow. Then before you know it, weeks have gone by, months have gone by, and you realize maybe a year down the line that you never even got started, or you never even persisted in finding that true nature. It's not until something comes up again and there's suffering and feeling of being tired or fed up with the circumstances, or having that feeling of separation. The searching is still there. It brings you back to a loop. The mind will never understand the nature of the heart. It can't. It will never see it. It will never understand it. It's always a fear factor in understanding that truth within us, that source of life. So it will always have, always have an excuse of why something else is more important. I need to do this. I need to check that first. I need to get this business taken care of first. I don't have enough time to sit with myself quietly. The kids are here. The work, the husband, the spouse, the wife, this event is coming up, so I have to be here, or, I want to wait till the kids are at, all of those are excuses of why that usually the mind takes and put off. But really, when it comes to it, if you think about it, it will never start. If you're waiting on the perfect time, that will never come. It's never a perfect time for anything. Some people try to wait to the perfect time to have children, wait till all the bills are paid, wait till they have their dream house, wait till they have so much money in the bank, or so many investments made, or so many trips already done, so much traveling to do first. And never, it's always going to be something when you leave it up to the mind to decide, or if you leave it up to thought, which it has to kind of be surprised, really. I knew that I was, there was suffering there, and I didn't really know anything about my true nature, or the truth of who I am, when I started this pathless, this journeyless journey, I guess. It's a path, but it's a journeyless journey. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know anything. It wasn't like I said, oh, I've heard about being a yogi or a sage, or, this direct path or oneness, and I'm going to see what that's all about. No, it was like my being. I did ask the question, who am I? But my being led me to where I need to be. When the suffering got great, I was just tired. I knew I was tired. I knew that there was, the feeling of separation. I felt like something was missing. Home, it was veiled. And so I had the feeling of being this separate self, separate, something other than the source of life. That truth, that peace, nature. I had moments of peace, moments of joy, and moments of rest. But then there was, in the midst of a lot of times, chaos, the chattering of the mind, the fear of this, the fear of that, the conditioning of what I believed as I was growing up, of what we are really not. All of that conditioning and trying to break through those layers. I had no understanding of where the direction my being was taking me, but I was ready for the ride. But there was a nagging inside sometimes that would say, what if, what if this is all a hoax? What if this? And I got to a point where it was like, it doesn't matter. If it's a hoax, then it's a hoax. That will be revealed. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. The source is eternal. So, I felt like there was always a refuge in knowing that no matter what the experience is here, that I was going to persist. I was going to continue. I was going to continue to see this through so I can say, okay, yeah, that was fake. That didn't work. That was not real. Because it felt like I had a sense of being bound. So for me, freedom was everything. And I was willing to be fearful and still persist. So that's what I would suggest amongst all the chattering, all the noise, all the doubts, all the doings, all of the mind putting off. Persist, even in the midst of fear. If there's fear there, keep going until the end, until till you're grounded in your true nature. Because it's always, the mind will put an aspect of fear of the unknown. But the worst thing, about the whole spirit experience, really, the worst thing about fear is fear itself. It's really nothing. It's eventless. This word enlightenment sounds big. It sounds like a big event, but actually, it's the most natural thing that will ever happen. Is the realization of your true self. And that's all it is. It's just realizing this has been me all the time. It was never really hidden. It's never really ever lost. It was always here. But it was something that was veiled. I didn't recognize it. I didn't have the knowing. I had the knowing, but it was veiled by the experiences, by the beliefs, by the fear, by the doubt, all those things that the mind will bring up. Oh no, it's going to be a scary experience. You're going to do this, you're going to do it. And it was none of that. And it was gradual, really. Sure, I had experiences that were attached to the unveiling, but my true nature is not an experience. It just is. Whatever the path that you take to get there, sometimes it is dynamic. Sometimes people have very dynamic experiences that are not their true nature, but points them to themselves. So we don't want to get confused with the experience and our true nature. Some people, they have these big impactful visions or hallucinations or just clairvoyance moments, and they feel like, or blissful moments, they feel like all of that is them, so they're chasing the events and have yet to recognize their true nature. And so they go on for years, trying to interchange their experiences with who they are, whether or not they have these, maybe they have gifts as a result of, being within their true nature. And they get a little confused with all of the happenings as opposed to themselves, because themselves are really not, it's not a happening, it's not an event, it's not an experience. you know. And so we have to recognize that there is a difference. The way you get there doesn't mean that, you know, the tools that it takes to get there is not you. Once you get into that recognition, you'll know, you'll stand firm and just enjoy all the experiences. If there's experiences that come afterwards, that's there for enjoyment. You know, that's there for enjoyment, but the ego wants to hold on to those, and, you know, very subtle, and cause confusion in that area, you know. But when you actually realize yourself, you'll know that your true self from the experience and all the movements, the shapes, the forms, because the only thing that's really real is us. And the only thing to fear is really just fear itself, you know. Fear is just, it's always a lie behind fear. There's rarely any truth in fear, you know. Even when it comes to harm yourself, no need to be fearful about it, but you just know that if I do this, you know, I can break a finger if I slam it in the door. But it doesn't take an emotional story behind that in order to know that, you know. You can just avoid putting the finger in there while you're shutting the door. That's all it takes. And so, yeah, that's basically what came up was, you know, don't delay. Don't delay. Just be persistent and intentional. You know, and even if there's a day where it seemed rough, that's okay. Just pick it back up. And all it takes is a recognition. Recognition when you get pulled in the drama, the chaos, the doings of life. You know, all the tasks of the day. And it is, you're able to do that. A lot of people think you need quiet, you know, quiet, let's go out to the mountains, or let's go sit up under the sages and the yogis. All that's beautiful if you can do it, but I've been right here in the city, raising my grandbaby, full family, a full-time job, started a business, all that, you know, in the midst of this. But there was a time where I wasn't doing anything. You know, I was working, but I was quiet in order to, you know, see that separation or experience the separation, in order to go in a little deeper and see, be able to recognize me from all of the chatter and all of the noise of the mind. So there was a time I had to just turn off my TV, shut off my phone, you know, not have many dinner dates or adventures with my friends. You know, there was times where I had to turn away from all that in order to experience, to recognize myself. Really, not experience, but recognize myself. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter what the environment is. There's always a quiet space within yourself, among all of the movement, among all of the concepts, among all the shapes, all of the forms. You can find you. And so that's my challenge, to stay intentional and do not delay. And if there's fear, continue to persist anyway. It's okay if there's fear. Keep doing it in the midst of fear. One day that'll just fall right off. Because like anything else, it's like riding a bike. After you keep getting on, it's no longer scary. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Remember that you are beautiful and I love you. Bye.